Sigma rules are an open source way for security analysts to share information. I also think it's a great thing to have in your resume if you want to differentiate yourself from other candidates. So today we're going to jump into, I've already got everything set up. This is not expiring. So we're going to go open. This is what we're going to do. You're going to use AOC Sigma hunting. Here's the IP address. It gives it to you in the exercise. So take some time to work through it. Now I'm going to walk you through the 3 scenarios that we have to create Yara rules for. And I'm going to break it down step by step because I want to make sure you understand it, because it took me 3 hours on a live stream trying to get it. And actually that's with other security people in there and us kind of talking through it. So it made sense when I finally finished. So we're going to go ahead and let's start. So the first thing you want to do is you want to click the create rule, and this kind of empties out everything so that you can start and gives you like the bare bone foundations. I want to see if I can increase the size of this just a little bit. See if that actually works. Okay, that did not work at all. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Let's see, control plus plus, that doesn't work. Control scroll. Yeah, none of that works. So yeah, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna get this increased because this is just ridiculously small. Okay, there it is right there. I don't think we want it any bigger than that. So once again, create a rule, we've done that. Title, I'm just gonna call mine, let's say account creation for the first one. I'm just not gonna put a space just for best practice. It takes spaces for the title. All right, so next we got the description. We don't have to complete this, but if you're doing an actual Sigma rule, this may be submitted to the public repository. So you may want to go out, and honestly, I'm not gonna say you may, go ahead and complete all the information. I'm just gonna omit that for the exercise here. And so the part that gets a little tricky is when you get down here is understanding the syntax. So you can see where it says the field name equals value. So for this, what we're trying to do is I'm gonna map this to what we're seeing in the exercise. So the first field name that we're gonna map here, we're gonna like get rid of all of that, the entire line, and we're gonna type event ID. And you wanna put the colon. I'm not sure, this is crazy that he's doing, it's just weird. But anyway, event ID, put a colon, and then and this is case sensitive. So this is YAML. So keep in mind, you have to be mindful of that. And then we're gonna say 4720. And we're gonna put the, we don't need a colon or anything. That should be fine for event ID. So anyway, with that being the case, that's the first one. And then for service, we need to enter the service, and we'll go back up here. Let's go through all this. Log source, this you do not need. Okay, so we can take that out. That's just instructions for your product. We're on a Windows device, so take out the hashtag because that's the comment character. And we're just going to say Windows right here. That completes that. Then the service right there, you see the service that says security. And so that's what we're going to put for the service. It says security for Windows, but I can tell you that security works fine. All lowercase. And then we want to talk about the category, and we look at what this is account creation. For this, let's see, what category are we going to use? It's neither. So it doesn't really have a category like this. The other one has process creation. This one doesn't have a category. So we're going to try to omit it. And then so we're going to say where our detection, our selection is, you're looking for events to have a 4720. Don't be afraid to hit the button. Like there's nothing going to happen. And you see, just by doing that 4720 with a service called security, that's it. Game plan, game over. That is the first flag right there. So go ahead and enter that. And then you want to view the log. So it's going to ask you some questions about the log. So let's scroll down. Go ahead and input the flag here, just like I've done. And then when it says view the log, it asks you from the challenge 1 log, what user account was created. And so we want to view the log, and we're looking for something that shows an account created. Now, I don't know if I necessarily see where it says specifically account created, but I do see a target username right there. And I see account expires, value, SAM account name. I see Bandit Yeti. And so based on the information I'm seeing here, I don't know if it ever specifies like, okay, this is an account that was created. If you saw it, let me know, drop it in the comments, let me know. But all I know is that based on this log, and really it's the event ID. I do know what the answer is. Sorry, it's the event ID right here. When you see a 4720, that's an account created event ID. And this is the actual name of the account that's created. So just keep that in mind. 4720 and the Windows Event Viewer is an account creation. And this is what we're filtering for. I just want to make sure you understand that. So I almost forgot to mention that. That would have been a big mistake on my part. All right, so that's good. That closes out that log. Let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next one. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So we'll scroll back up. Let's look at our criteria. And so we need to make this criteria match. Now, something I want you to note, this is what almost tripped me up. It's what tripped up some of the other security guys that were in the live stream on Twitch and YouTube and LinkedIn. I'm streaming on all of them. Twitter. I was on everything. 5 platforms today. The next one we need to modify. So we're going to click on this second create rule, software discovery. So click the create rule. It's going to blank that out for us. Okay. And once that's blanked out, I don't know if we need a title. We can try. We'll just say software discovery. And with that being the case, we'll move on. We don't need to enter UID, but this is a unique identifier that is assigned to the rule if you submit it to the public repository. So that's what the UID is. It's globally unique. Globally unique. Got that? Perfect. And so once again, log source. This one is just more of a category header. There's nothing that we need to put here for this exercise. Once again, we are on a Windows computer, so we'll filter that down to Windows. And I just want you to get the reps. Okay, so this time, once again, the service in this case is sysmon. So we want to make that match, and if we'll take out the comment, because remember the hashtag, I'm sorry, because that's to comment, and we'll get rid of the period at the end. And then the category, do we have a category? Yes, we do, process creation. And remember, it has an underscore, so just keep in mind, no spaces, process creation with the underscore in between the two words. All right, so now we've cleared that, and remember to take out the hashtag. I almost forgot that again. Process creation, so that looks good. And then we get down to our selection fields, and this is where we got to get a little more detailed. So we have an image, and if you look here, like this is what it took me a while to understand. The category, the event ID, the image name, command line, strings. These are 4 different items, like fields, that you have to put in your detection section for the rule to work and give you the flag. Okay, so they've done very good, and the rules, like this little box up here, will fuss back at you because they've added some things to guide you down the road. So they'll say, I want you to include this and this. You'll see in a second, and I'll point that out for you. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is we got an event ID. So we already got the categories, process creation. That's up there. That's already done. Next field, event ID. :1. Okay, that's good enough. I'm going to show you how to do an array in just a second. Basically, you put it on a new line with a tack or a minus in front of it. Okay, so tack minus interchangeable, same thing. All right, so that's the first one. So we covered that. Event ID equals 1. Service, we need to do an image. So image. And then here's what's tricky about images. So what we're saying is for this image category, we can search it. We can do several searches. We can say contains. We can say ends with and starts with, and then all. So what I'm going to say here is we want to say our image name, which is this information right here, this field, image ends, ENDS, with :, and we want to put the values here. So remember, we can put multiple values. So for this one, we'll click the tab because this is very specific to formatting. So minus, okay, and then open semicolon. And actually, since we don't have anything, it's not a space or anything like that, we can just say reg.exe without the semicolons. But you can also, I believe, just put semicolons around it, and just as a good practice, and that works too. And then the command line, we have to enter a new one. So we'll say command line. And what are we looking for here? We want to look for, we see a lot of words in the command line. We could put the whole sentence there if we want to. I don't know how you deal with these double quotes. But say if I just want to say command line equals SVC version. Let's try that. Or actually, I'm going to take this whole line out. I want you to see what happens. Sometimes it's good to, once again, press the button ahead of time. Not the red button if you're, president. That's different. But we're going to click this. So we'll say invalid syntax. Ooh. So we got an error somewhere. Where's the error? UUID. Anyway, software discovery. What if I take this space out? Are you okay with that? Is it the space that you don't like? No, it wants us to enter our UUID. So where do we get that from? It's right down here, way down here. All right, so we'll go ahead, we'll copy the UUID, drop it in the clipboard, make everything all happy. Okay, control. All right, so now it's in a clipboard. Let's go ahead and close the clipboard. And we'll get rid of this information, Control Shift V or Control V, sorry. And make sure we only got one space. So now that we got the UUID there, invalid syntax. Oh, I know what it is. It's not the UUID. It's right there. We didn't put a space between a colon and software. It does not like that. So now that we get here, required field missing, command line. So you see this telling us that, hey, you've got an image path, but a command line is a required field. It's showing you this right here in this exercise. So let's put that command line, and then we'll put what we want to search on the command line. And remember, just a few hours ago, didn't have a clue about any of this, okay? So it's amazing what you can learn. You can learn this too. So command line, and then I'll say that, what do I want to search in this command line? I want to say ends with SVC version. Or maybe I say begins with. Let's be a little fancy. Or it actually starts with. I learned that the hard way. Starts with. And then we'll put the colon and go to the next line. And I'll say starts with. And I'll say, once again, it starts with what? Reg query. So let's say reg query. And they put the semicolons around it. Let's just click the run button. Oh, so it says it wants required filter. It wants a /V in there. Okay. Interesting. So and this is the exercise kind of telling us, guiding us what it wants to do. So I guess maybe it wants us to use the ends with, or maybe we can use the contains. So let's try contains. And we'll say /V, which is right there and that's part of our search. Now let's click run again. Oh, wrong detection. So hit count. So we got 2 and we only wanted 1. So what if I say /V, and maybe it wants us to understand that it wants us to look for anything that's looking for a /V SVC version. Maybe it wanted more details. And there's the flag, just like that. So now we'll scroll down and we'll look at the questions. And so we'll enter the second flag. As you can see, that matches up. And then we need to go into the logs by clicking view log. And once we click view log, it's asking us, what is the user's path in challenge number 2 log file? The user's path, And when that one was a little bit confusing, but based on the space, like, you know, you can see the little asterisk and they have a space right there and then 4 characters. I realized that the user's path was actually the username here, and it's saying the domain /Bandit Yeti. That's number 2. So that one's cool. All right, great. So now we've got the foundation here. We got these YAR rules. They're doing good. Let's get rid of my camera. So I keep forgetting to do that. I want you to see the entire thing. Have I been blocking? Let's see. No, you've been able to see the output. Okay, that's good. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and go to the third part of the exercise now. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, but not too much. It kind of builds on. So we can retain some of the information we have, to be honest. We're already good here. Actually, I think we need to click create rule. We'll go ahead and back that out, and we'll say schedule task creation. Just to see if we can do spaces. Click the button, okay. Invalid syntax, let's put a space there, and does it like it? Too generic, okay. So you can put a title with a space there. I would say probably not for best practices. I'll probably put underscores for a language that's kind of this particular, just to be safe. Maybe do that for your title. Keep everything consistent. And then we're gonna come down, so event ID. What is the event ID? All right, that's going to be, actually we need to do the category first. And I think this is where it could be a little bit more helpful, like the format. So the way it gave us, you know, we get the product, And for this one, we know that it's Windows. Still working on a Windows device, not a Linux or a Mac. Oopsie, I almost got a little too carried away. And then our service, you see our service right there, sysmon, right here. So let's go ahead and make sure we put sysmon in our service section. All right, and then for our category, we have process creation again. All right, and so I think, oh, what did we miss? We missed our hashtag because that's commented out. Okay, so currently we've got the foundations there. Now we need to enter for our detection. This is our detection. These are the things that actually build in the things that it's going to search for. And we'll say event ID, :1. We know that. You could do it as an array. You could also, just so you know the options here, you could do the dat minus or tac and then 1. That's the same thing. They both work. Okay, but since we only have one entry, I just do 1. But let's test it that way. Okay, so we got that. We need the image, and we'll say image, and we'll say, let's look at this. What do we want? Image ends with, and forgive me for that. And we'll say at the end, we'll go to the new line. And we'll press tab and we'll put the minus key to make the array. And we'll say scheduled schs.exe. All right, remember we need to put the colon right there. Almost messed up. Let's click the run button early. See what we're saying. Make sure we don't have any errors. So required field missing. We don't have the command line yet, and that's right there. This is going to be our command line. So let's do it. We'll backspace this. Really weird that it keeps doing that, but it's been doing that all day. I'll close this window after command line. And what do we want? We want to say, let's say, maybe we say begins with or contains. What if we're looking, what are we really looking for? Maybe looking at on login. So let's look for contains, put the colon, and we'll say it contains on logon. And we'll press run. And they'll say, this is too generic. So this is what TryHackMe is doing. They're trying to guide you here because they want you to look for a specific thing. So remember, we're looking for account creations, right? So my filters here, I'm just looking for on logons. That's not account creation. So what in here? Oh, I have a /create. Okay, so I can do that. I can say, what if I say contains, and then I'll put this in semicolons, /create. That's what they asked for, and that looks good. And let's run the roll. No hits found. Interesting. So based on my feedback here, nothing came back with a rule, with a hit. So I know my syntax is good, but I'm not searching for the thing. So let's look at this. Ends with schtasks.exe. All right, I think that's good for my image. And then I say contains /create. I wonder if there is a, maybe I need to put a space in front of it. Let's run it again. No, still no hits. Interesting. So now we get a chance to tweak it. So command line contains. What if I say begins with? This is getting a little crazy. Begins with, or actually starts with. I always forget that. Starts with. And what if I say the whole thing starts with schtasks /create. Close. Does that get it? No hits found. Okay, so I don't have enough information. So what am I missing here? All right, so I know that my command line starts with, so this is what we'll back up a little bit. Let's go to our syntax. Let's see what are our options. So we have conditional operators. And this is a section that kind of walks us through it, where we can kind of figure out where are we going wrong here. So contains, and then says all, right? And that's when you're searching for an array, you're searching through all entries in the array. Okay, and so looks like they do have a space between their minus sign. So let's put a space between ours, and then let's run it again. Could it be the space? No, no hits found. Interesting. So image ends with schtsks.exe. That looks good. Well, I did notice that they have this one in single quotes. So they have, maybe I'll put the backslash like they did to show us a file path and put that behind it and click run again. Interesting. So this is becoming like a lot more interesting for me because I'm expecting I should have had the flag now. So y'all get a chance to watch me troubleshoot like what actually happened. But let's go through the syntax. Remember, contains, ends with, and starts with. Contains, ends with, I'm going to close these, and starts with, and then all. So one of the things I do notice is that they did, when they did an array, to search the array, they would do command line, and then they would do ends with or whatever, or they could do contains, and then I would do all. So basically saying search all of the different entries below the command line. So we know we're not getting an error for image, ends with. And so let's go back and let's look at all the details that we had before us, okay? So we have, this is so annoying, totally driving me crazy, but we're gonna make it through in this video. For all the things we have here, we've got this process creation, and we've got image. The image part is correct. Now, one of the things I can see that maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the way that we listed it. I'm not sure. We also have to take in consideration too that this box is actually expired. Okay, so if that's the case, let's see if we can extend it. Nope, the box is still valid. We just got some kind of glitch going on. So let's look at all of our data. We're looking for schtags.exe multiple times, okay, and /create/10. So I'm just going to back this out, and I'll just, oh, wait, that's good. That actually is a /. So we're going to get the message is popping up twice. So let's see if we can get to a point where we're figuring out what's happening. So command line starts with. Okay, that's all. I'll be honest with you, that's all good, because see, sometimes we can get too generic. So I'm just going to back out. I'm going to back out my whole command line entry. I need to break it just to make sure we're getting responses at this point. Okay. And all right, so that tells me clearly that it's reading that image path is good. So let's put command line back in. Put the pipe, and we got to put our search, and we'll say ends with, ENDSWITH, and we'll say all, okay, just to make sure it's searching the entire string. And then we'll say here, it's gonna, oh gosh, it's driving me crazy. And we'll just do calc.exe, and we'll click run. Okay, good. I like this. It says Sigma rule too specific, so it doesn't like calc.exe. So it's trying to get us to be a little bit more broad. So what if we just type tag C or slate? So we'll put semicolon. We see we have a /C there. Put that in our rules. Press run. So rule to generic. So we want /create in there. So let's go back through this process. We'll put /create in there. And then we get no hits found. So when I look at this, image ends with SCHT. Yo, there is nothing I can see that's maybe issue, except for I can see that we have a parent image. Let's go here. So we'll say backslash, same thing, ends with cmd.exe. Let's add that one to the entry, see if we're missing anything. Still no hits found. So at this point, I'm starting to think this box might be a little flaky. So with the errors and stuff that we're getting, and this is possibly cost me a full 25-minute video. So F this box, bro, for all them stupid error messages and stuff like that. Not sure what's going on, but it's kind of annoying. But this is the part. This is part of it. You know what I'm saying? This is absolutely part of the process. It just will drive you crazy. So let's hopefully by restarting this box, it'll come in and these errors will stop, because it's absolutely insane that I'm getting these constantly, you know. So hope that's something that they can fix and figure out what's happening. Maybe other people are having it too. So I'm just really not liking what we're getting here, because I know the data is solid. So we can say ends with, we got the colon and event ID. You know what? I think I know what the issue. That should be a space 1. No, that's not. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and take this event ID, put it on the same line. Just make sure we don't have anything weird going on. No hits found. Okay. So I think we can go here. I'll take out one of these entries. Put ends with. So it wants schedule task.exe. All right. So you see that. So we add this here to the filter. We can take that out. And then no hits found again. Now I can tell you by all accounts, I got nothing here. Been through the exercise multiple times. Everything looks good. I mean, we satisfy all the requirements based on what it's saying. So I got the event, I got the image, event ID, the whole 9. There's nothing that I see is missing process monitor. So it makes me think that it's possible that this box is actually terminated, and it's just giving me faulty results. So I'm going to terminate this box, and then I'm going to restart me an attack box at this point, because maybe it was one of the ones that actually requires something was not right with that whole scenario, because we're satisfying the requirements pretty straightforward and we're still not getting it. So anyway, so I pulled up my video where I solved this earlier, and so here's what's interesting. I found that I didn't have a service when I completed the exercise. I'm going to take that out in just a second. So let's go ahead and let's put this back. So let's go back to where we left off. Okay, so I restarted the VM. I think everything is good here. So what I'm looking for is number 1. So for image, and we'll say event ID equals 1. Let's go through and put everything back. Event ID 1. It's perfect. Next up, image pipe, and we say ends with, and we can simply put here and the ending of the image. Once again, we're working on the scheduled task, so all we have to do is press tab here, space minus, open that, backslash schtasks.exe. That takes care of that. We'll hit the run button, should error out and say we don't have a command line. Okay, so now we'll add the command line to it. Pipe, and we'll say also ends with, or we can say contains. And looking at that, we'll say, let's go and put that, make sure we put that on the end of it. And remember, if we have more than an array, we need to add the all command, but we'll also contain /c, close semicolon, and we'll run this. Okay, so we need the required field create. And I see that, let's just type that, change from /c to /create. right here. So now we end up with /create. Okay, that looks good. And interesting. So that is totally weird. I'm not sure what happened that time, but there's the actual flag. You can copy the flag, and we'll go to the bottom here. Let's answer the rest of the exercises. We'll close this out. So enter that, and then it says, what's the MD5 associated with the challenge log 3? So I don't know if we did anything wrong the first few times, but here's the MD5 right here on the hashes. And remember, it stops right here. You got more than one hash. You got MD5, you got a SHA-256. You can see it as part of it. You got a IMP hash. So just make sure you only copy up until the point where right before the comma. That's the MD5 hash right there. So copy and implement that, and you're finished with the exercise. And so just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for putting up the exercise. Sometimes things go wrong, but you have to be patient and be persistent and just keep working through it. But anyway, if you're interested in more cybersecurity, I'm teaching the real, and I'm breaking things down for beginners, intermediate, whoever. There may be something even as an advanced person that I might know that you might not know, and vice versa. Feel free to share your knowledge with me too. I'm always learning. Thanks for watching.